Alright guys, I'm here to help you out with a question that seems a little bit weird to people at first. The directions would say something like, write each fraction as an expression using a negative exponent other than -1. So if you're up to these questions, you've probably gotten to some that look like this. And maybe it'll say like 1 over 2 to the third, but it wants you to write this using a negative exponent rather than a positive exponent, 2 to the third. So what we would use is our rule that I keep saying. If you watch my other videos, I say cross the line, change the sign. So I take my exponent, I cross the line, and that changes the sign of my exponent to make it -3rd. Now the reason they have questions like this is because now I can say this is 2 to the power of -3. I'm expressing this as a power of 2. Before this wasn't, you wouldn't really say this is the power of 2, it's a little strange. So this is more conventional to say this is 2 to the power of -3. Now notice the directions say a negative exponent other than -1. So here we were fine, it had a negative exponent of -3. But if we do it here, look what's going to happen. This is like 1 over 125 to the first. So if I were to use the cross the line, change the sign, this would be 125 to the -1st, but it says other than -1. So we're going to do something different. That's why these problems become a little bit weird. I'm going to show you how it works. Let me rewrite this. Alright, to do these problems, it really helps to be familiar with evaluating exponents and to get used to some of those ones that probably should be memorized by now. So 125, if you've been doing a lot of the work, you probably know is 5 to the third. And you could test it out. You know, sometimes if you're new to it, you might need to do a little extra work. But 5 to the third is 5 times 5 times 5. That turns out to be 125. Now, the nice thing about this is now I have an exponent other than 1 here. This was 125 to the first. This is 5 to the third. So now when I do cross the line, change the sign, that 5 to the third is going to come up in the numerator, and it's going to change the sign to be 5 to the -3rd. So I can say that's 5 to the power of -3. One more example, and this one's a little bit harder because not many people know this power. This one, you guys probably knew, 125 is 5 to the third. 1024, that's a big number. You might not know that. If you do a little trial and error, you probably figure it out. Maybe you start trying 2s or 4s or 6s because you realize that it does end in an even number. There's actually 2 that work out for this one. We could say 1024. We could say that's either 1 over 2 to the 10th or 1 over 4 to the 5th. So if I did 2 times 2 times 2 10 times, that's 1024. 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, that's 1024. So I can actually have 2 different answers for this problem because I'm still going to use cross the line, change the sign. This one will become 2 to the -10th, and this one will become 4 to the -5th. So for this question, you have 2 possible answers. Hope that helped. Now finish the rest of your homework. Have a good night.